So you've decided to buy an OLED TV. Congratulations. Now comes the challenging part, deciding which one to buy. And that is exactly what I'm going to help you with. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and I've been reviewing TVs professionally for 14 years. And I'll never forget when LG introduced the first large-screen OLED TV in 2013. It was my first big press trip, and it was in Monaco during the F1 Grand Prix. I was actually kind of uncomfortable with the lavishness of it all, but when I saw that OLED TV up close and personal, I knew my job was about to get real fun. The last 11 years have seen some tremendous advancements for OLED TV technology, and while it's happened very slowly, the prices have come down. They are still expensive premium TVs, but you can get a good one for under $1,000 now, which I call progress considering that the first 55-inch LG OLED went for $10,000. And now there are a bunch to choose from in sizes ranging from 43 inches all the way up to 97 inches. But what's great about OLED TVs is also what makes choosing one so hard. I've said this before many times. OLED TVs start at a baseline of awesome. They are all outstanding. So how do you know which one you should buy? Well, I think I've cracked the code here. I'm going to help you decide right now. And to do that, I'm going to break down all the best OLED TVs into categories or buckets that you and your needs might fall into. By the way, I've got shopping links to all of these TVs at their best prices down in the description to help make finding them at a reputable retailer and getting a good price as easy as possible. Let's go. I want to start with the least expensive OLED TV that you can buy right now, and that would be the new Sansui 55 VOUG. So if you know the Sansui brand name from decades gone by, they made legendary high-end audio gear in the 70s especially, you should know that this is not the same Sansui. The brand name has been licensed to a big electronics company. So I was a little concerned that the build quality and picture quality on this TV might not be all that great, but I got one in and I am so happy to be wrong on both counts. This TV is well built and the picture quality, I mean, it's OLED, so it starts at awesome, right? Perfect black levels, incredible contrast, amazing color, nearly instant pixel response time. I will say that the processor that runs the Google TV interface can get a little sluggish at times, but you can fix that for as little as $50 with a streaming stick. And I think it would be worth it. This TV is perfect for a bedroom. I love it for that. It would also be a great TV for a smaller living room too. Or if you really want that OLED picture quality, but your budget is a bit tight, this Sansui OLED beats the competition by like $300 to $400. I have one more budget-friendly OLED TV for you, but before I get to it, I want to make sure you all hear something really important. If there's an opportunity for you to buy a 2023 model OLED TV, the model year prior to any of the TVs that I mentioned on this list, the smart move for the overwhelming majority of you out there will be to buy that 2023 TV. You'll save a lot of money and you're not going to be giving up on anything radical from a 2024 TV. There are cases where the 2024 model is a bit better in some very specific areas, but frankly, only the most hardcore of TV enthusiasts would benefit. Most of you should buy the 2023 TV if you can. With that in mind, for the rest of this list, the next budget-friendly OLED TV I want to talk about is the LG B4 OLED, or the 2023 B3 OLED if you can find one. The B-series OLED TVs from LG don't have the latest, greatest processor, and that is really okay. They're also not quite as bright as the step-up C-series models that I'll talk about later, but not everyone would be able to appreciate the incremental step up in brightness, especially if you usually watch in a light-controlled area. The LG B-series OLED is a little more refined than the Sansui that I just mentioned, and the B4 model is available in a wider range of screen sizes too, from the $600 48-inch up to the $3,000 83-inch. There is no more affordable big screen OLED TV on the market than that 83-inch B4 OLED. So if you want to go OLED and go big without decimating your savings account, this is the one. But really, the B4 is a great choice for someone who wants a top quality OLED TV but doesn't have the kind of eagle-eyed scrutiny that calls for someone to spend more for those little incremental improvements. Next up, and I thought about saving this one to the end, but I just can't. The Samsung S90D OLED TV is a top pick on this list. Maybe the smartest buy in high-end OLED TVs that you can make, but if you can still get a 2023 S90C OLED TV, do it. I have seen the 65-inch version of the S90C out there for $1,000. And guys, that's just a no-brainer. If you want a high-performance 65-inch OLED for under $1,000, get the Samsung S90C. And go do it right now because they will not last. I'm actually shocked there's any stock left as I'm recording this video. And because it is such a great deal, it's not going to last very long. And if it's not available by the time you see this video, I'm so sorry, but I had to put this in here, and I give you permission to abandon this video and just go buy that TV right now. But please use the link below, okay? Thanks. Anyway, back to the Samsung S90D, the 2024 version. It is a similarly stellar choice. The S90D has a QD OLED panel, and it can produce colors that other TV technologies simply can't. And that's not hyperbole. I've actually measured it. It's a scientific fact. And the S90D is the smartest buy in QD OLED because it gives you more color than other OLED TV types at the most reasonable price for this technology. I cannot recommend this TV series highly enough. Now, in the same price category as the Samsung S95D is the LG C4 OLED. Last year's model was the LG C3, so buy that one if you can. The LG C4 has great full screen SDR brightness and specular highlight brightness for HDR. It's got LG's outstanding Alpha 9 Gen 7 AI 4K processor and does an exemplary job of upscaling low resolution and low bitrate content. It's got LG's outstanding Alpha 9 Gen 7 AI 4K processor and does an exemplary job of upscaling low resolution and low bitrate content. That makes it a top choice for watching everything from cable or satellite TV to YouTube to free streaming TV. Stuff that isn't the highest quality from a signal perspective still looks incredible on the LG C4. For a lot of folks, the decision between the LG C4 and the Samsung S90D is going to be a really tough one. Size per size, the pricing tends to be about the same, and I love both. The differentiators are that the LG is a bit better at upscaling and slightly better with motion resolution, while the S90D has slightly enhanced color. The Samsung has its Tizen interface, the LG has its WebOS interface. They have different types of remote controls. They are both stellar for gaming and movie watching. So which one you should buy is going to come down to your personal preferences. But both of these OLED TVs hit a real sweet spot between price and performance. And I know that for most of you, these are going to be the top two choices to consider on this list. You can't go wrong with either one. So stop worrying about FOMO, not that guy, and pick the one that appeals to you most. And now, my friends, we're going to talk about the absolute best 4 OLED TVs that you can buy right now. There's one from Samsung, one from LG, one from Sony, and one from Panasonic, because Panasonic is back and in a big way. Before I go through each model and try to distinguish them in a meaningful way for you, let me be really clear about something. Every one of these 4 TVs is a winner. There are no wrong choices here. These are the absolute best OLED TVs out there, and no matter which you choose, you are going to both spend a bit more and you are going to be absolutely thrilled with the picture quality. Honestly, I think your decision about which to buy should be based on non-picture quality related considerations. So that's what I'm going to focus on as I go through these, okay? I'll start with the Panasonic Z95A. Panasonic, like Sony, has a look to it. There's something laid back, classy, inviting, and enthralling about Panasonic's best TVs, and the Z95A exemplifies all of that. The only thing that I don't love about the Z95A is that it runs Amazon's Fire TV OS. I don't hate that about it. I'm just not a huge fan of Fire TV OS overall. It's fine. You may love it. I just don't. The only other thing that might sway you from the Panasonic Z95A is that it only has two HDMI 2.1 ports, and one of those is shared with the eARC port. Now, if you don't understand what all of that means, then there's a very good chance it doesn't matter to you. If you only have one high-end game console and you don't see yourself having more than one ever, then really don't worry about it. The Z95A is a stellar, bright OLED TV that will delight you. Period. End of story. Next up is the Sony A95L QD OLED TV. Now, Sony released this TV quite some time ago. Sony is on a different product cycle with its flagship OLED. So if you were gonna go back to the prior model, you'd be going back a ways to the Sony A95K. Now, if you're a Sony fan, then you already know. Nobody does it quite like Sony. It has excellent upscaling and cleanup of low quality content. It's got excellent HDR highlight skills. It was, and still is to many, the best TV ever made. It runs Google TV, which I like, and like the Panasonic, it has just two HDMI 2.1 ports, one of which is shared with the eARC port. It is a QD OLED, like the Samsung I'll talk about next, but runs a prior gen QD OLED panel, so it doesn't get quite as bright as the Samsung, but for most of you, it is more than adequately bright. This is one of my favorite TVs. Might still be my absolute favorite. It's hard when these four all have so much to love about them, but I will say, having Google TV built in is pretty nice for me. Oh, and the audio system on this TV is my favorite of the bunch. Add Sony's Bravia Theater Quad Dolby Atmos audio system, and y'all look out. That is a formidable system that will entertain you to the max for years to come. Next up, as I just teased, is the Samsung S95D QD OLED. Now, what makes this TV unique is what will help you decide whether it's the one you should pick. It has better bright room performance than the other four top-tier OLEDs on this list, thanks to an otherworldly anti-glare and anti-reflection system. Not everyone is a fan of this, so you'll see some negative posts about it online. Some folks like glossy screens, but this is the OLED I would pick if I was putting my TV in a room full of windows that are letting in natural light, or if I had a ton of lamps or practical lights in my space that were gonna be on a lot of the time that I would be watching TV. The S95D just helps reduce the impact of all that ambient light and lets you enjoy the brightness and contrast of the TV in a more uniform way. Also, it has the highest color brightness I think I've ever seen on an OLED TV before. And Samsung's gaming hub provides access to a ton of cloud gaming options, no console necessary. The S95D is a really spectacular choice across the board, but that anti-glare tech makes it a particularly good choice for folks who want great bright room performance. And last, but certainly not least, is the LG G4 Gallery Series OLED TV. What a stunner. Now, this TV will come off as the brightest OLED TV in most viewing situations. Like the Panasonic, it's got LG's awesome MLA OLED panel technology, and that, combined with LG's brightness boosting algorithms, makes it just a searingly bright OLED TV. Also, LG's processing has come a long way. In some cases, it beats even Sony, and Sony has long been held the king of processing. I kind of wish the onboard sound were a bit better, but it's still very good. It's just that this TV is such an overachiever in every other way, I have to call out its one tiny little flaw. I hate even calling it a flaw, honestly. But folks, even with the amazing picture quality, brightness, color, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, all of that stuff, the real big differentiator here is that LG sells this TV with a 5-year warranty, and that warranty covers burn-in. So if you're the sort of a person who has the TV on for 6 to 8 hours a day, usually on the same 1 or 2 channels, normally I'd say don't buy an OLED, but if you do, this is the OLED TV to get. That's an industry-leading warranty. And not only does it say a lot about LG's confidence in this TV, it also makes it a no-brainer for a lot of you, I suspect. That's the list, folks. I sure hope I've helped you at least narrow down your choices, if not land on a final decision. Please consider using the shopping links I have down below. Not only does it help you, but it also helps this channel a great deal. If you like this video, I've got lots more for you. Hit that like button, subscribe if you do want to see more, and hey, share this video with a friend too. I'll see you on the next one, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like. F***ing T-Shop.